Hey guys, Travis here with Alberta Backroads, and today I'm going to show you how I installed this KCM rack with the area lighting and the Pro6 light bar on my wife's 2020 JL Rubicon. Stay tuned. So the first thing I'm going to do is assemble this M rack. I'm going to try not to go into too much detail in this part here. I'll show you generally how it's done. Reason being is I don't want the video to be 3 days long and keep you guys bored. So I'm going to jump right into it and show you the key parts. Okay, so we're going to start with the rack upside down, essentially. So we normally sit like this. We're going to start like this, and then we're going to take our crossbars. We're going to install them using these 1/4 inch bolts with one washer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Loctite on these bolts just to make sure they don't come loose. Now keep in mind, we are not going to install, assemble both sides of the rack right now. We're going to leave one side unassembled. That way we can install our light mounts. Also, we are not going to tighten these bolts down all the way just yet. We're going to wait until we have the whole rack assembled to tighten down all the bolts. Okay, so next we're going to install our side light mounts. And we're going to use 2 of these carriage bolts, 2 of these nuts for every 1 bracket. And these brackets are going to face like this. So, the way we're going to do that is cut out sections in these bars, and that's going to slide in the bolt, slide the other one in, place our bracket on there, loosely thread our bolts on. Now we can slide this one down, and the other one, we're going to do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. If you have installed these correctly, it'll look like this. And this. And then we're going to put more here and all the way through to mount all 4 of our lights. Alright, so next we're going to install the other half of the rack to the base. After that we'll install our lights. Alright, so next we're going to install the area lighting. And we're going to do that by sliding it into the brackets. Now there's a plastic tab on these lights. Now your bracket goes inside of here. Like so. Then we can tighten up these 7/16 or 11mm nuts on the outside, adjust our lights to where we want them, tighten them up. But one thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure that your KC logo on your light is facing the same way the KC logo is on the rack. That way it's not upside down. Alright, so once we got our rack assembled, our lighting assembled, positioned the way we want it, what we're going to do is we're going to lay it all down on a nice flat solid level surface. And we're just going to go around, we're going to make sure this thing's all nice and square and straight, no issues or anything like that. Everything's the way that we want it to be. Then we're going to tighten down all the bolts that secure our cross rails to our side rails. After we get them all tightened down, we're going to go ahead and install our Pro6 on here. So now we're going to unbox the Pro6 light bar. This thing is beautiful. Now we're going to install the Pro6 bar onto the M rack. And the first thing we're going to do is remove the hardware that's in the Pro6 bar on both ends. our Pro6 bar in place. And feed our bolts through when we have them lined up with the pre-drilled holes. This can be a little tricky to do by yourself. With the bolts installed and the KC rack in place, we're going to put some Loctite on the bolts. Then we're going to align the lights to the general area where we want them, and then we're going to tighten up the nuts. Okay, so now our KC Pro6 is installed on our M rack. Keep in mind, it's pretty easy if you do want to adjust this. When it's on the roof and you're all good to go, if you figure out, man, I left it too low or I left it too high, you just loosen these bolts off on the side a quarter turn. You can move it around whichever way you like and reassemble it. Now, let's proceed to getting this rack mounted on that Jeep. So next, we're going to put some tape on the general area where the M rack is going to sit. Reason being is we're going to have to put the M rack on, mark our holes, and then remove the M rack to drill the holes. And we don't want to scratch our top up and, put some, paint marker on, our color match top here. So just going to run a stick of painter's tape across the top. And we're going to do this on both sides. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wire the M rack. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wire all these area lights all into one circuit and then run them all on one switch. So if I want all my area lights on, I just click the button and they come on. So yeah, let's get started on that. So we got our M rack wired. We got it wired using a piece of 2-wire. We essentially just linked all of these lights together, all down the side of the rack, right around to a piece of 2-wire here. And this comes down next to the plug for our Pro6 light bar. That's going to make it easy for us to run a piece of 4-core wire into the cab. It eliminates a lot of extra wire and whatnot. Then we're going to have all our area lights to one switch and our Pro6 to another switch inside the cab. With the M rack all wired up, we proceeded to lay it on the Jeep to mark our holes for installation. Prior to marking the holes, we made sure the rack was right where we wanted it by measuring from several points on the Jeep to points on the rack to make sure that we had it perfectly square. After we had the rack aligned, we marked all of our holes. We moved the rack slightly, center punched, then drilled all the holes. After drilling the holes, we vacuumed up any fiberglass and whatnot from the drilling process. We then removed the tape, applied silicone around the holes, and installed the M rack using the supplied hardware along with the sealing washers. We have our rack mounted now, and we have our bolts run through. Can't really see them, but yeah, they're there. And we're gonna get the nuts on the rest of them, and we're gonna tighten them up. Then we'll move on to the wiring. So one thing I did forget to mention, guys, in the video and show you guys was I did take all the hardtop bolts out, and I did prop the hardtop up with something just a couple inches so I could get at the bolts that sit right on top of the sound bar here. Hey guys, so I'm going to give you guys a little more detail on the wiring, the way I'm doing it, and what I'm using here. So, what I have run is one single length of 4-core Arctic Flex wire. Now, this is 4 cores of 14 gauge wire, meaning that there's 4 pieces of 14 gauge wire in different colors run through this single conduit here. Now, the reason I use Arctic Flex is I am in northern Alberta, and this Arctic Flex wire won't crack or, break up. It's good for, I think, minus 65 degrees Celsius, and yes, it does get that cold out here. So I ran that up through here. It's going through my A pillar here, all the way up, and I actually have a hole drilled in the roof. It comes up through here, and it is siliconed. Now, because I'm using 14 gauge wire, I'm actually I'm running 2 separate grounds and 2 separate powers. The 2 separate grounds, one for the area lights, one for the Pro6 bar, and then 2 separate powers, obviously, one for the Pro6, one for the Yeah, for the area lights. So these are going to get wired in with the auxiliary switch wiring harness back here. This is Rubicon and it does have the auxiliary switches, so yeah, I'll go ahead and plug it all together and we'll give it a try, see if it works. So my bottom half of my wiring is done. It's wired to my switches. Now I'm going to wire the top half, the Pro6 and the area lights to my 4-core wire. Okay, so we have our lights all wired up on the top here. Now I just gotta tie this up and whatnot, but first we're gonna test it. So, press number 1 for me. Alright, there's our Pro6 bar. Alright, press number 2 for me. There's our area lights. Sweet. Alright, so I'm gonna get this all tied up and then, yeah, I'll see you at the end. Alright guys, so we are done. Again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, comments, leave them in the comments below. Feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, or right here on YouTube. Even contact us by email if you'd like. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to click that like button and that subscribe button on your way out.